We're very fortunate now to be joined by former Congressman Cedric Richmond, who is now senior advisor to President Biden and the director of the White House Office of Public Engagement. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. First, your thoughts on what I see the connective tissue between some of the reporting about Merrick Garland's experience in prosecuting Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh and some of the things that your new defense secretary has combated is that everyone is in a posture to fight domestic extremism.
Well, domestic violent extremism has been ranked by the FBI and the intelligence agencies as one of the #1 threats to this country for the last couple of years, maybe even 3 or 4 years. Just the truth is the last administration decided to ignore it. And when I was on Homeland Security Committee, our chairman, Benny Thompson, tried to bring it up over and over again just to be stalled or fought by the administration. And so this administration, we're not going to do that. We've always said that we will let facts, science, and data drive our decisions. So we will make sure that our intelligence agencies coordinate and that we fight domestic violent extremism.
The memorial service that the president convened last night with the vice president and both of their spouses marked the second time that he has sought to honor those who have been lost. And it was remarkable to see him open up his own experiences with grief. Obviously, that is important to him. But you have also all been working as a White House to push through the COVID relief package. Can you talk about the balance between, and I understand him to be involved in the granularity of some of the policies and the pushes to get vaccines out to governors and mayors. Just talk about how, as a White House staff, you're balancing all those demands on all of you.
The truth is those two things go hand in hand. His respect for the 500,000 people that we lost is why we're fighting so hard for the American Rescue Plan. We want to make sure that we get vaccinations out in every community. We're using health centers, we're using pharmacies, we're using federally supported sites to do mass vaccinations. We're going to have mobile units to make sure that we don't leave communities behind. We're asking for money to send directly to Americans who are suffering because of the economic crisis. We're asking for enhanced unemployment for the 11 million people we know who are unemployed through no fault of their own. $130 billion so that we can open up schools safely to get parents back to work, children in a school building. And so those are our priorities, and we're going to keep working because we know what this pandemic is doing to too many American families.
If you could just sort of flesh out for us, Jen Psaki today affirmed the president's support for Neera Tanden. Reporting on the status of support for her on the Hill doesn't show a pathway. Can you tell us what that is for her confirmation?
Well, yes, there's a pathway. I mean, we are talking to senators on both sides of the aisle, and we'll continue to do that. And the senators will have a vote on Neera. And at the end of the day, we expect that Neera will be confirmed.
Are you trying to flip Manchin back to a yes?
Look, I won't go deeply into our strategy, but we're having conversations with all senators because we think Neera is very qualified. She has a body of work in terms of policy and fighting for families to lift them up to the middle class, lift families out of poverty. She's an exceptional candidate, and we're going to continue to fight for her.
I just want to understand the effort to do so. I mean, Joe Manchin supported Rick Grinnell and Jeff Sessions. I mean, is some of this pushing back on what makes someone like a Joe Manchin uncomfortable with her? If you could just help us understand the campaign to find enough votes to confirm her.
Well, I don't think nomination campaigns necessarily are public campaigns. The only thing that we will keep reiterating is that she is very qualified. She was the best out there for the job, and that her policy work is about lifting families into the middle class and improving their lives. And we're going to continue to make that argument to all of the senators because we're just not limited to Democratic senators. Neera Tanden should be a universal choice by Democrats and Republicans because of her experience and her passion for the American people.
You're very good at staying on message, which was one of my jobs. But I think what I'm hearing is you're going to try to find a Republican vote for Neera Tanden. We will keep our eyes on that endeavor. I want to ask you about the president's bilat today. In a headline that sounded like it was from The Onion, Donald Trump actually managed to strain U.S.-Canadian relationships. Was there much repair work that needed to be done? And can you talk about that bilat today?
Really, I can't. I haven't talked to the president or anyone to brief me on it. I've been truth of the matter, I've been upstairs working on nominations and making sure that our nominees get hearings sooner and we can staff up a cabinet so that we can run this government.
Can you tell us who you're working on or who you're worried about?
Now, I'm not worried about anybody, but we need people confirmed, and the truth is we need them confirmed now. So whether it's Neera Tanden, whether it's Miguel Cardona, whether it's Lisa Monaco, whether it's Vanita Gupta, whether it's Marsha Fudge, I mean, we have a long list of nominees, and right now this country is in crisis. The last thing we should be doing is still talking about nominees. What we should be doing is working with those secretaries to improve the lives and the situations that we're dealing with all across the country. So we applaud the Senate for the hard work that they're doing, but we want to push them a little bit more to get our nominees confirmed so that we can do more for more people.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.